Good afternoon. Oops, why isn't this working? Good afternoon, everyone. It's not working, is it? Good afternoon. Okay, now it is 1 p.m. I am now opening the Platting Board meeting. We stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, the roll, please.
Plotting member Shavetta.
Present.
Plotting member Gilson.
Present.
Plotting member Salmon.
Present.
Plotting member Traxler.
Present.
Plotting member Krieger.
Present.
Plotting members that are absent and excused are plotting members Liebing, Burtz, McBride, Halford. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, are there any changes or objections to today's agenda? Seeing none, can I get a second for approving it? Or can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Sorry.
I move to approve the agenda for August 21st, 2025.
Thank you, Ms. Krieger. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Salmon. Are there any changes or objections to last meeting's minutes, August 7th meeting's minutes? Can I get a motion to approve?
I would move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Salmon. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to open public testimony for persons to be heard present or online for items not scheduled for public hearing. Is there anyone present that would like to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Anyone online? Okay, I'm closing public testimony. So, unfinished business. For unfinished business, we have Bear Street Agape. The request is to vacate the right-of-way for East Bear Cub Circle, eliminate the common lot lines between lots 17A, 17B, 16A, and 16B, and eliminate the screening easement between lots 16A and 16B of lots 16A, 16B, 17A, and 17B, Block 2, Berries Acres, Number 2 subdivision, to be known as Bear Street Agape, containing 4.10 acres plus or minus. The property is located directly east of North Bear Street and directly north of East Bogard Road within the Southwest Quarter Section 28, Township 18 North, Range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, and the North Lakes Community Council and Assembly District Number 6. To the board. Do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing none, have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing none, are you able to be impartial in this decision? Seeing an affirmative, Madam Clerk, the mailings, please.
There was 123 public notices mailed out May 27th, 2025.
Thank you. Staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Chris Carlin, Platting staff. We are asking for a continuation to September 18th to allow time for design changes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So This always gets me, so I got to open up public hearing still and all of that. Okay. So I'm going to open up public hearing. Does the petitioner's representative want to speak? No? Okay.
This is very, yeah. Were you continuing?
Okay, so that's a different case that's being continued to, yeah. That's what I thought. That's Denina. That's being continued to the 18th. That's a different one.
Both will be,
Oh.
yes.
Both are going to be continued to the 18th?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to open up public testimony for Bear Street Agape. Is there anyone present that would like to speak to this particular case? Anyone online? Okay, I'm leaving public testimony open. Go ahead, Mr. Hanson.
I would just like to clarify, so there seems to be some confusion here. All that had happened at that last hearing was we were waiting to see what the assembly meeting had done with regards to a proposed change along the road corridor. That's come and gone, and so at this point there is no change to what the petitioner is proposing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion from the board for the continuance?
I'd like to move that we continue. I move to approve continuation of the vacation of the right-of-way for East Bear Cub Court in Section 28, Township 17 North, Range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska.
Thank you, Ms. Krieger. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Salmon. Discussion? Objection? Motion has been approved. Okay. So we have Hatcher Creek Estates. The request is to create 36 lots in one tract by a 4-phase master plan from tax parcel C1 to be known as Hatcher Creek Estates, containing 39 plus or minus acres. The property is located directly east of North Covington Street, directly south of North Wasilla Fishhook Road, and directly west of North New Hope Farm Road, within the southwest quarter section 3, Township 18 North, Range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, in the Fishhook Community Council and Assembly District Number 1. To the board, do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Being none, have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision, outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing none, are you able to be impartial in this decision? Seeing an affirmative, Madam Secretary, the mailings?
There was 51 public notices mailed July 15th, 2025.
Thank you. Staff report?
Thank you, Chair. We're asking for a continuance to September 18th.
Okay. Petitioner's representative?
Good afternoon, Craig Hansen, representing the petitioner again. For clarification, merely, the DOT had came back with some evidence regarding right-of-way width that we did not have. So suddenly our right-of-way had changed from, I think it was 100 to 200 feet wide. We did some redesign on the plat. It's a busy time of year, so we didn't get the drawing in time. So that's what we've got to, that's the only reason that we're postponing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. I'm going to open up public hearing. Is there anyone present that would like to speak to this particular case? Yes, please, and state your name for the record.
Patricia Sykes.
Could you put the mic down closer so so it travels?
I'm vertically challenged. Patricia Sykes. And I'm one of the developers on New Hope Estates, which is adjoining eastern of this particular parcel. So my question, main concern is the ingress and egress only coming in and out of New Hope Farm Road, which is a residential road. And by the way, has not even been approved for maintenance by the borough as yet. So the borough's not accepted it for maintaining it. We've been maintaining it throughout the years of its construction. It also raises concerns for the entry exit onto Wasilla Fishhook Road, only from New Hope Farm Road. There's a hill right there, as well as a blind corner. So which this would prove to have a lot of additional traffic only on New Hope Farm Road. Also, New Hope Farm Road is, all the traffic would be heading easterly away from Wasilla, and so we're not sure why that has been developed that way or designed that way. There should be some ingress and egress onto Covington, which is westerly. Covington will be extended at some future point here shortly, and so we'd hope some of that traffic would go southern off of Covington and join with Texal and et cetera going towards Wasilla. So right now, all the traffic is being directed away from Wasilla. So we suggest flipping the design and offering a stub road onto New Hope Farm Road. That way there's traffic that's able to go to Palmer or to the ski resort alternatively. New Hope, like I said, New Hope Farm Road has not been approved for maintenance. It would cause an additional burden on us, and we are the ones maintaining that road. So a suggestion would be for the borough to accept and maintain the road. We would also like to see some form of CC&Rs stated within the plat to not allow for detached fourplexes. They have saturated that additional community, and it takes away from the wildlife trails if they were to clear cut this land, basically. It also would remove a lot of the wildlife, and they would take alternate routes. Also, the lots are non-conforming to the area. They are small lots when the area is 2 acres or plus. Majority, 99% of those lots are even, some of them are even larger than the 2 acres. Some are 5, some are 10. So it doesn't conform to that. Also, there's an aquifer concern in reference to this. With the additional detached fourplexes that may be allowed, it would cause some detriment to that. Also, we'd like to reiterate statements and concerns from the statements that have already been provided to you about the objections from the Rakoffs, the Westmans, Milkies, the Knutsons, and the Greffs, and the Robinsons. All of them had made some really good points since I'm limited to 3 minutes. So we'd like for you to reread those particular statements. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Anybody else? Please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. For the record, my name is John James. I live at North New Hope Farm Road, the perpendicular Heavenly Circle. I was one of the initial developers that helped out on that project. Concerns, just to reiterate, to reverberate, probably communicate from a different mindset, but the traffic is a concern. To me, as Patricia Sykes has just stated, that has not been approved yet. We do all the maintenance on that road ourselves. Haven't seen any Matsu Borough or DOT or anybody else's maintenance vehicles out there, and I've been maintaining it for approximately, 4 years now, 5 years, whatever it is, at cost to ourselves, nobody else. So if we consider putting that, when that is approved, and I'm a pessimist on this one, I think it's going to be approved. I'd greatly appreciate it if you would consider the egress routes going to Covington. There again, a lot of traffic going to Wasilla. I think that's a smarter thing to do if that in fact does occur. Hopefully it doesn't, but I think it will. Water study. Has anybody done a water study on the aquifer lately? I can tell you that without looking at your websites for yourselves, it was done about 20 years ago. Nothing's done since. Got a lot of growth in that area since then, and we've still got 20-year-old aquifer table water studies. It is concerning if in fact it goes through, say, 36 times 4 on just under 40 acres, going to be a lot more stress on that aquifer, and I'd like you to take that in consideration. The other thing about this is the community itself has evolved, is changing. I've been in the area since about 1991. I was in the military, so off and on in the area. I've been here since my part of the war ended in 2006-ish. Been back here. I can tell you that the character, the environment is changing, in that what used to be a lot of horses, a lot of equestrian trails, a lot of folks outside, that's changing. And I understand, and I'm sure that y'all do too, as members of this board, this has become the bedroom community of Anchorage. With that, one of the things on your own publications, on your own websites, the long-term plan was something to the effect of large lots. Well, I don't describe 36 families on 40 acres as large lots. I'm not real good at math, but I can't see how that figures out. So anyway, I'd greatly appreciate it if you consider those points, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Anybody else? Nobody else? Is there anyone online? Okay, no one's online. I'm leaving public hearing testimony open. Would the petitioner like to come back up and speak?
Again, Craig Hansen, representing the petitioner. And the only thing I would address at this point in time is the issue of the connection out to Covington. That was my original design. I prefer to go out to Covington and have some overflow out to New Hope Farm Road. However, the borough did not want that. The department, or the Capital Improvements Project, insisted that we have all the traffic go out to New Hope because Covington is a collector as listed on their long-term plan, even though it's very short at this point in time. So, as I said, that was my plan. You can, people want to talk to them and convince them to run it out to Covington. We can still make that change. I'd be glad to. That was the original plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hansen. I have a question, but I'm not sure who to ask it to.
Probably
about-
the same one.
Pardon?
I probably have the same one.
Well, about New Hope Road.
Yep.
So it's privately maintained, right? So I don't know if this is a Mr. Hansen thing, if it's staff, if it's Mr. Wagner. Okay, yeah, you know where I'm going with that. So is it right to divert traffic down that road or have traffic on that road that's privately?
The road in question isn't entirely private. It becomes private at the southeast corner of this plat right here, right about that area. There's a turnaround that's there from the previous plat. That's public road north of there. The private road subdivision begins south of this subdivision. What they're just talking about is that the borough has yet to accept the public portion for maintenance. It's still under being recorded. So until they accept it for maintenance, it's not being maintained. But it's still a public right of way.
Is that in the works? Where they're gonna
I
accept
would
it?
have to check with the Department of Public Works to see where that stands right now. Haven't had an update on that. I actually wasn't aware that it had not been accepted for maintenance.
Yeah, it's my understanding that October of the following year is only 1 year of private maintenance for a road, so I'm questioning why 4 years. Public testimony is still open, is it not?
It is. Okay, come on up.
Hello, Patricia Sykes again. In your question in regards to the maintenance, it has not been accepted by the borough. Jamie Taylor came out and reviewed it. The road itself was approved by her, but she said that the turnaround was not approved. It was oversized when in fact she was the one who approved the oversize of the turnaround. The buses happen to really like the extra large turnaround, and so do any of the maintenance vehicles or other vehicles that have to make that turnaround right there. They really love it. However, Jamie said that she could not approve it because it cost extra money for the borough to plow the extra 2 feet, approximately 2 feet. So it hasn't been accepted yet. And there you have it. So
Okay, so are you like involved with going to RSA board meetings or anything like that? Are you like on the ball with bothering them?
I would love to, yes. I've actually had a meeting with the Matsu borough mayor as well as, with issues in pertaining to this particular subdivision.
Yeah, that doesn't sound reasonable, what you're talking
No,
about.
it's been totally unreasonable. So my question was the entrance, ingress, and egress on these additional 36 lots, on how it's going to affect that particular road system, since I'm the one that's maintaining it. We are, as the developers, and have been.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Fred?
Fred Wagner, Platting Officer. Since we are moving for a continuation, if the continuation is granted, I will chase down this topic a little further and have better answers for you when we meet again.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Come forward.
And for the record, John James again, just had an idea, thought. I really believe that potentially what's happening here, the reason the first recommendation was not approved was it would cost the borough money. Our New Hope Farm Road that's not been approved yet, we've been maintaining for 4 or 5 years, whatever it is currently existing, and Covington would have to be connected, costing the Matsu borough money. Just an idea. Maybe I'm wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
To the chair?
Yes, Ms. Salmon.
Is the person that doesn't like the extra 2 foot of turnaround the same person that didn't like Covington coming all the way through? Or is that two different entities in the borough that's delaying a full conversation here?
Mr. Wagner, do you know the answer to that question?
I do not right off the top of my head. Let me take a look.
I hate to do it to you, Mr. Wagner, but can we add it to the list of stuff we'll talk about at the continuance? Why can't we punch Covington through, and why can't we have the extra wide turnaround to get that New Hope Road approved and to get some access out to Covington? It seems like that would make the developer happy and the public happier.
I have a quick question. The new road, North Timber Creek Loop, will that be a borough-maintained road? Is it going to be approved as or is that what it's been applying for, is to be a borough-maintained road?
I would assume so, yes. That they would seek, that they would still be seeking, yes, that they would want maintenance,
And so
being in a
then
road
there
service
would be
area.
entrance and exit.
So this still
Assuming
centers
that was
around the
another borough
original, the New Hope Farm Road question,
Yeah,
so.
I wonder if it's all to be approved at one time kind of thing.
That's my question too. How do we approve a subdivision without access to a road? And would we make that a condition of approval, but then the developer has to wait for that? Or
That will all be part of what we'll look into before we hear this again.
Okay. So can I get a motion from the board for a continuance?
Yes. I would like to move I move to approve a continuance of Hatcher's Creek Estates.
Your voice
Section
isn't
3.
carrying in the mic.
Isn't it? Okay. I move to approve a continuance of Hatcher's Creek Estates, Section 3, Township 18 North, Range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, contingent on staff recommendations.
Thank you. Can you get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any objection?
Just to clarify, the motion is to continue to the meeting on the 18th.
Correct.
Because it's a typo in our notes. It's on the
Right,
3rd.
yes,
So,
yeah.
okay.
It's the September 18th. Okay. Is there any objection for the continuance to September 18th? Seeing no objection, the motion has been approved for a continuance to the 18th. Okay, so with reconsideration and appeals, we have Cooper Woods Phase 2, Lot 16B, Block 1. The request is vacate a portion of right-of-way on Lot 16A, Cooper Woods Phase 2, Lot 16A, Block 1, and 8A, Block 2, to be known as Cooper Woods Phase 2, Lot 16B, Block 1. The property is located directly south of East Gemini Lane and directly west of North Kavanaugh Circle within the northeast quarter section 9, Township 18 North, Range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, and the North Lakes Community Council in Assembly District Number 6. To the board. Do you or any immediate family member have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing none, have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision outside of the public process provided by the borough?
The chair. I did. I am not sure if it's considered ex parte, but I did receive a call from the public on this. I feel like I could still be impartial, but I did get a call from a real estate agent. His commentary is in your handout.
Right, Bobby Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, had called me direct. So I
Okay.
don't know if that makes like a violation of something, but I just wanted to make sure to disclose that.
Okay, thank you. This is not a quasi judicial case, right? It's legislative, so I don't think that's in violation at any rate. Are you able to be impartial in this decision? Seeing an affirmative, Madam Clerk, the mailings, please.
There was 102 public notices mailed May 13th, 2025.
Thank you. Staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Chris Curlin, Platting staff. We have no staff report for this. It is the email. Thank you.
Okay.
This is Fred Wagner, Planning Officer. The request for reconsideration was generated by myself after I had returned from the dip netting trip and had listened to the Platting Board hearing. The petition was approved without mention of the deck, which happened to be a second floor deck, and that's greater than 18 inches above the ground, so it is considered a structure as part of, let me see, get the right code up here. I had it. There it is. It's on that one. So at first, we'll go over the reconsideration process. We don't do a lot of these. So a Platting Board reconsideration needs to be based on one of 5 items. There has to be, the board may reconsider decision only if it finds that 1, there was a clerical error in the decision, or 2, the decision resulted from fraud, misrepresentation, or mistake, or 3, there is newly discovered evidence or a change in circumstances which by due diligence could not have been discovered before the original hearing. 4, the board acted without jurisdiction in the original proceedings, or 5, there was substantial procedural error in the proceedings. I filed this on the basis of number 3, because there was new evidence brought forth to the plating office that the deck was a second floor deck and thereby should be considered part of the structure. And the result is that when we vacated right of way that removes the building from the setback itself, the plating, the deck still remains, and it also is within the setback easement. So we actually didn't achieve what we were trying to achieve with the plat note. So I wish to bring it back for reconsideration so that we can add a condition of approval to remove the deck. And that is it. The deck decision is based on the definition of structure, which is listed at 1755 setbacks. It's in the definitions, and it's the last section of this is that tubes, patios, decks, or steps less than 18 inches above average grade are not considered in the setback. So anything above 18 inches, it would be within the setback. So we're just making sure, I mean, this is so, and I know it seems like the more government red tape, but what this is we're trying to look further down the line and make sure this petitioner doesn't wind up with still the same problem when the deck is discovered to be not in the setback and within the utility easement. So it's a chance to fix it before it becomes a further problem and they have to scramble back to the plating board to change that. So that was the intention here.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Would the petitioner like to speak?
The petitioner, there's no, at this hearing, the only person who speaks is that the person requesting the reconsideration. You can ask them questions, or you can elect just to go with the evidence. It's based on the report that essentially the email requesting it states why it's being requested. If you have questions for me as to why, we're not in a public hearing for this. There is no public input, no testimony taken at this time. This is just to grant the reconsideration request. If the reconsideration is granted, then we'll schedule a new hearing, and then we will address these items. And then the public will have a chance to speak, the petitioner will have a chance to speak. For reconsiderations, here, I'll go back over here to the code where it says, the planning board shall review the petition at its next regular meeting and decide whether to reconsider the matter. The decision to reconsider the matter shall be based on the petition and any oral argument of the petitioner, which the board may decide to hear. In this circumstance, I'm the petitioner because we're asking for the continuation. Or the reconsideration, excuse me.
So we proceed with discussion amongst the board.
Yes, you can discuss it amongst yourselves and make your vote.
Okay. Discussion with the board about this reconsideration. Oh, I'm not carrying either. Amanda Salmon.
When we considered this last time, there was a lot of information included with that petition, like the as-built survey. I think what we had last time was an as-built survey and the plat, and it showed the
deck, but it didn't mention that it was a second story deck. If it had been it could have been a first floor entry level deck, and if it's not 18 inches above the ground, then it wouldn't be an issue.
That's not my question. I was just kind of wondering where that documentation was. Because the deck, I thought we considered, it was like the house is a problem. No. It's not the house that was the problem. Remind me if I'm wrong, but it was the deck that was sticking out too far.
No,
And we
it's the house is too close. The
pardon me,
deck
through the
wasn't.
chair.
Here, let me pull
We
it up.
granted the variance. Whether the deck's on the second story or not, it sticks out too far. And that was the discussion, I thought, it wasn't the house, it was the deck.
If the deck had been less than 18 inches, we wouldn't have been considering it at all
I
as
believe,
part of the easement.
I believe the discussion was there was a 2 foot of the actual dwelling of the house that was in the right of way. And the deck was not considered because we didn't have the information that was on the second floor, is my understanding.
Yeah, it's just hard to say without the drawing in front of us. So what is the violating part?
They're inside the setback.
I know, but it's not the whole thing.
So-
Like, the deck is the violator or the house is the violator?
The way the as-built is showing right now, the house corner is 22.8 feet from the right-of-way. There is no dimension to the deck. The deck is the hatched portion, the hatched square right here, which actually sits not only in the, it would have, since it's a second-story deck, it's considered part of the structure. So therefore, it's even further into the setback, and not only into the setback, it's also in the utility easement. We need to just make a condition of approval. In my eyes, a condition of approval needs to be made to remove the deck so that it's no longer in the setback. You can't, with the building being 22.8, you really, you'd have to ask for more vacation, which most likely is going to be denied, or is going to be vehemently argued against. This removing the deck, it can go forward with the proposed. My intention at the next meeting is not to ask for a complete denial of the vacation. It's only to add an additional condition of approval to bring the structure into compliance with the setback requirements, which it will be with the vacation and removal of the deck.
Do we need to make a motion? This is on the next agenda. I'd like to move that we,
Your voice isn't carrying.
I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider the approval from, don't know what date it was, but of Copperwoods Phase 2, Lot 16B, Block 1, case number 2025-051. That we add it to the agenda on September 18th.
Seconded.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner, did you have a comment? Nope, you're good? Okay. Is there any objection to the motion?
I'd rather not, but we don't gotta like count a vote about it. I just thought this was handled. I don't know. There's so many violation issues in the borough today. I don't know why we're coming back to this one. It's a deck. You know,
Okay.
it's now that's a snow dump. It's not a, to me, it's a non-issue. I'd appreciate getting down to business, but I think what we can do today is decide not to add that to next meeting's agenda too, is an option.
Okay, so do you object or not?
Yeah, I mean,
You
I would
do.
be a no
Okay,
vote
so you
to that
object, so
motion.
we need to take a vote on whether or not to approve the reconsideration. Okay,
I'd just like to add that we aren't necessarily reconsidering the approval. It's that we need to look a little further into it and maybe vacate some more of the easement or something like that and actually discuss this deck also. Because before we were only discussing the house sitting in it, and now we've got what appears to me about a 10-foot by 10-foot deck that also needs to be dealt with. Not to say that we are going to expect them to remove it, but we can also approve an easement around it. We can do a lot of things that we need to talk about properly in a meeting where the representatives are here and everybody else.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Fred, if we do nothing today and we just deny the reconsideration, in theory, this person could be getting a citation every single day until that deck's removed.
That is a correct assumption.
Thank you.
the other thing I think to be considered is the fact that this cul-de-sac was built to subdivision construction manual specs. And messing around with the vacation and the easement takes it out of compliance. So that's another thing to be brought into the discussion about that. So, yeah. And to reiterate, we only discussed the building being 2 feet inside of that 25-foot setback and not the deck.
And that was a very close vote. It was 4-3 to give
Yes.
that easement. So I mean, it was very close just for the building.
Yeah, so I think it definitely needs to be discussed again. So, are we ready for a vote? Okay, board members vote. Oh, so saying yes is to approve the reconsideration and no is to not approve reconsidering.
The motion passes with Platting member Salmon in opposition.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. So the motion passes. Okay, moving on to public hearings. We have, is that Denina? Is that how you pronounce that? Okay. So we have Denina. The request is to create 8 lots from tax parcel D10 to be known as Denina, containing 9.14 acres plus or minus. The lots will take access from a proposed internal road. The subject property is located directly west of South Clapp Street within the southeast quarter section of Section 13, Township 17 North, Range 02 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, in the Meadow Lakes Community Council and Assembly District Number 4. To the board. Do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing none. Have you received or otherwise engaged in an ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing none, are you able to be impartial in this decision? Seeing an affirmative, Madam Secretary, the mailings?
There was 51 public notices mailed July 29th, 2025.
Thank you. Staff report?
Thank you, Chair. Chris Curlin, Platting staff. We are asking for a continuation to September 18th to address concerns brought up by pre-design and engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curlin. So I still open public testimony, correct? Okay, I am opening public testimony. Is there anyone present that would like to speak to this particular case? No one's present to speak about this one. Is there anyone online? Okay, so I'm leaving public testimony open. Can I get a motion from the board for continuance?
I move to approve the continuation of Denina, Section 13, Township 17 North, Range 02 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska.
Can I get a second?
Second?
Discussion from the board, objections? Seeing no objection, the motion passes to push it forward. And now we have, is it Shalom? Okay, so we have Shalom Acres. The request is to create 2 lots from Tract B and Tony Estates, add 1. Plat number 2017-54 to be known as Shalom Acres, containing 4 acres plus or minus. The petitioner is requesting a variance from legal and physical access. The property is located west of East Shirrock Road, north of North Lucille Street, and directly east of North Dartmoor Street, within the northwest quarter section 27, Township 18 North, Range 01 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, in the Denina Community Council and Assembly District Number 6. To the board. Do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing none, have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing none, are you able to be impartial in this decision? Being an affirmative, Madam Secretary, the mailings?
There was 78 public notices mailed July 29th, 2025.
Thank you. Staff report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Matthew Goddard, Platting Technician. The proposed Shalom Acres subdivision would create two lots, with the proposed western lot fronting on North Dartmoor Street, a borough-maintained road. The petitioner has applied for a variance to legal and physical access for the proposed eastern lot. If approved, the eastern lot would utilize a private driveway easement located on the southern boundary of the northern adjacent parcel. The variance application and answers provided by the petitioner to criteria A through C are found at exhibit pages 11 through 15. A letter from the petitioner giving further explanation of the variance request is at exhibit pages 14 and 15. A geotechnical report was submitted pursuant to Borough Code. This is seen at exhibit pages 7 through 10. William Klebesaddle, a registered professional engineer, notes that based on the available soils and water table information, topography, and Title 43 code definitions, as well as observations at the site, each lot will have the required 10,000 square feet of usable building area and 10,000 contiguous square feet of usable septic area. An as-built and topographic information were provided and are at exhibit pages 6. A section line easement determination was submitted and is at exhibit pages 30 through 39. The Borough Department of Public Works Pre-Design and Engineering Division comments are seen at exhibit page 40. PD&E objects to the variance to legal and physical access. The private driveway easement could be revoked, leaving proposed Lot 1 landlocked. Since the parent parcel has legal and physical access, there are options to subdivide in a way that would provide legal and physical access to both lots, which may require road construction. This is not an atypical situation for subdividing in the borough. The Borough Planning Department comments are seen at exhibit page 41. Planning staff strongly objects to the request for a variance to 4320-120 legal access, as well as 4320-140 physical access. The petitioner's variance fails to meet the requirements of 4315-075 variance standards for approval in all three instances. Criteria A, the granting of the variance shall not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare or injurious to adjacent property. The variance request would result in a property that is landlocked, which would be injurious to adjacent property. A private driveway easement fails to meet the requirements of 4320-100 access required, as it would not create a lot that has legal and physical access as defined by code. This fails to meet 4320-120 legal access, as the lot would not connect to a unrestricted right-of-way. 4320-140 physical access is not met, as the driveway easement does not conform to the requirements of the subdivision construction manual and is not located within a dedicated legal right-of-way. Lastly, 4320-320 frontage is not met, as there is no frontage for the proposed lot. Criteria B, the variance request is based on conditions of the property that are atypical to other properties. There is nothing atypical about this property. It is a 4-acre parcel, and it has the same restrictions as most properties located within the borough. And criteria C, because of unusual physical surroundings, shape, or topographical conditions of the property for which the variance is sought, or because of the taking of a part of the property through condemnation, or because of surrounding development or conditions, the strict application of MSB 4320 shall result in undue substantial hardship to the property owner. There is nothing preventing the petitioner from constructing the road to provide access for the flag portion on the southern boundary of the parent parcel. The loss of economic benefit has been uniformly rejected as a basis for a variance. MTA requests a 15-foot utility easement be granted to serve Lot 1. This is included in the recommendations of conditions of approval for the approval of Shalom Acres with the variance. Staff has provided separate findings of fact for approval and denial of the variance request, as well as findings and recommendations for the approval of Shalom Acres if the variance is first granted or denied. In conclusion, a variance was submitted pursuant to 4315-075. If approved, the preliminary plat of Shalom Acres as presented would be consistent with statutes and code. If denied, alterations to the proposal as noted in the recommendations of conditions of approval for Shalom Acres without the variance will be required to comply with state statutes and borough code. Proposed Lot 2 meets the requirements of legal and physical access as well as frontage. A variance for proposed Lot 1 was submitted, as the submitted design does not grant legal and physical access. A soils report was submitted pursuant to code certifying that both lots will have the required usable area. There were no objections received from any federal or state agencies. There were objections received to the variance from Public Works and Planning staff. There were no objections received from the public in results to the notice of public hearing, and there were no objections received from utilities. As staff does not support the variance request, findings for both approval and denial have been provided for the board's consideration. Findings and recommendations for both approval of Shalom Acres with and without the variance has also been provided. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goddard. Is there any questions for staff?
I
Mr.
do,
Chivetta.
if I could formulate it here for a second. As I am understanding 43-2-100, you need to have no practical means of providing road access to a proposed subdivision in order for the board to grant a variance. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, would the petitioner or petitioner's representative like to speak now or wait?
Dana Rumpelt with Lavender Survey. I am the petitioner's representative. The family is subdividing this into two parcels to divide the buildings off, so each parcel has their own building. We have, lot, so they're not two houses on one lot. We have obtained a easement from the neighbor. It goes with the land. It can't just be released without agreement on both sides. So we don't really believe that it can just easily be released without both parties, the one that it's encumbered on and ours that we use for it to, wow, that's terrible. The driveway, one of the arguments is the driveway easement can be released. It can be released, but it would have to be very difficult. Like it would have to, both parties would have to agree. It's not just like, oh yeah, we're going to give away our only access to the lot. The south side of the property is swamp, and that's the only way we could bring a flag lot into this parcel. To create two lots with legal and physical access. We would also have to extend the road to the south in order to get the frontage required, or we have to swing the flag lot all the way to the northwest corner of the lot. We have an example we can show you. There is not 60 foot of right of way all the way to the south side of this property. They're section line easements, and we would have to dedicate right of way to create a road that's 60 foot wide for a turnaround that we would have to create. So it would be a little bit ridiculous to have to extend a road just for a turnaround. That's never going to get used and dedicate right away. The easement, the driveway easement has been accepted. It has been built. We have a driveway easement. Anybody that drives up to this property is going to use that driveway easement. In order to build a road, to extend the driveway and build the road, it's going to cost over $100,000 to put and that's just to build the driveway from the south property to the existing position, and there is utilities that have to get moved, would have to get moved if we have to build that flag lot. So those are our opening comments.
Was there any questions from the board? Seeing none, so I'm going to open this for public hearing. Is there anyone present that would like to speak? Come forward.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Joshua Matthews, one of the owners of the property. Yes, sir.
This is for the public, not for the petitioners. If you're one of the petitioners, then there'll be another period after the public where the petitioners can speak again. Thank you. I think it's going to be pretty quick. I don't think anybody else is here to speak on it. Too easy.
Okay, I don't see anybody. Is there anybody online? Okay. I'm closing public hearing. Petition, yeah.
Forgive me. I'm a medically retired combat veteran, retired in 2020. Moved up here in 22 with my wife, my father-in-law, Jeffrey Kewen, my mother-in-law, Emily Kewen. We purchased this property in hopes to grant me some peace. I am a 3-time combat veteran, moved here to find peace. So that's why we're looking at this property as one of the most peaceful areas in the area that we can afford just to settle down in all reality. So with having to subdivide and do a flagpole variance, we're looking at over $108,000. And I actually have it broken down here. And I also have a couple printouts if you guys would like a copy of that. You would be looking at a $23,000 utility relocation, $10,000 round, and all these numbers are rounded down. $10,000 for 2 culverts to build this other driveway, $15,000 for clearance, and then roughly $60,000 to backfill and bring the land up from the swampland to make a flagpole variance or a flagpole driveway. So to me, that is absolutely just an extraordinary amount for small residents. If we were talking of a large scale neighborhood, I could understand something like that. I'm an electrical contractor by trade, so understanding these formulas, to me, it's a little absurd to ask a staff to do that, where we already do have a borough-approved easement driveway, and that driveway is not going anywhere. It's already been approved, it's already been established and built. It's been in use for well over a year, and for us to deny that variance, I would have a hard time understanding it. And so that was it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. No questions? Okay, can I get a motion from the board?
Yeah, since this case can't proceed without the variance approval, we need to recommend we have to do the recommendation for the approval of a variance as separate, and then we'll do the case afterwards, because we have to approve the variance or deny the variance, and then we decide what we can do with the others. But a lot of times when you'll have a variance, we'll separate them when the variance makes a substantial change. If there's a variance that, if it's not granted, completely kills the case, we'll make it all part of one motion, because the case is essentially killed on that. With this one, the variance can be denied, and there's still a pathway to subdivide the property. Mm-hmm. And so we presented forth that option. So we go with the variance first. So the first one would be to make a motion to approve the variance, and then discussion, and whether or not you approve it, vote on that, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay, what the man said.
Can I ask Fred questions first?
Or do we move to approve the variance first?
That's going to be part of my questions. It's going to help me determine that.
Yeah,
I
so
think we move and then discuss.
Yes, either or. Yeah, if you move to discuss, then we can discuss the issue. if it was something about how to ask the question, but yes, a motion would be more appropriate.
I move to approve the variance being requested as a part of Shalom Acres, Section 27, Township 18 North, Range 01 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, contingent on staff recommendations.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Mr. Chivetta.
Mr. Fred. This is kind of like the case that we had from a couple of weeks ago that we discussed earlier today. In your experience, what is defined as no practical means?
Topographical restraints that say it were a cliff or it's just not, it's a long ways from a road that, there's, miles and miles of road to connect it to any type of a system. That would be limiting. This, in my eyes, has no limitation. I mean, I understand that it would be expensive, but when you come, the variance isn't based on what it costs. It's based on whether or not it meets code and whether or not we can ignore code for this reasoning. And like I said, the cost isn't what we look at here. It's not, it's what's everyone required to do. A variance is essentially a request for a dispensation for a person to break a law that all of the rest of the people are required to follow. So you really have to, you got to really prove it to be different and, something that is out of the ordinary and, like I said, not atypical. So,
Thank you.
Okay, so I have some comments. So I think it's important that PD&E and the planning department strongly oppose this. And I did read the easement document. And at the end of it, it says, it is agreed and understood between the owners of both parcels that the benefit and burden of this easement shall run with the lands described herein, and such easement is to be, and I can't pronounce this word properly, a prudent, something like that, to and run with ownership of the parcels. That a prudent word means that they're putting emphasis on the fact that it's running with the ownership of the parcels. So this is where PD&E is saying that this can be revoked. So in the future, if, somebody else, because we don't live forever, when somebody else goes to buy this piece of property, if the owners of the larger piece of property that granted the easement doesn't like the new owners, they can be like, sorry, and pull the easement, is the thing. This runs, that is correct.
excuse me, point of order. Need to ask talk, be recognized by the chair, not just start flying it out here. This is when we're starting to get out of control. Yes, a private easement can be nullified by the private properties that own it. That's what it is. The private property, either private property owner can make a move and revoke a private easement. It's a private easement. That's what it means. That means the borough doesn't have any control over it. We can't force them to keep the easement. There's no dog in this fight. This is why we have moved to a common access easement granted on plats. It's so that when we do a common access easement, in the past they did them private, and then they would get nullified. And then we wouldn't know. The borough would never be made aware that the easement has gone away. And that would be the same case with this one, because a private easement, we don't vacate private easements. We vacate only public easements, and we deal only with public easements. We don't grant private easements. So this easement created by two private entities can be revoked by the private entities.
Respectfully, entities. So it would have to be the grantor and both parcels would have to agree to revoke this easement. So just wondering to myself, why would somebody do that? Potentially somebody someday builds a road through that swamp and does a flag lot. And I apologize to the chair for interruption, but that is my understanding, is that parties, both parties, the one cannot revoke from the other they would both agree in writing and that would be recorded. I guess my question from what Fred had just said is the common use easement. Is that something our petitioner could switch gears and ask for instead of a variance? Is that an option?
That is not an option here because the parcel itself doesn't touch the right of way. They don't have legal and physical access. They have to have, a common access easement is when we have two flagpole lots side by side and they're to get one driveway. Or you might have 3 or 4 parcels, flag lots combined, and they all use the one driveway. So it's, and the fact is, as you said, it's a private easement. They can still negate it, even if it's both. For whatever reason, it can be negated outside of the public process, and we've landlocked this parcel.
Ms. Krieger?
A question, is there a way, or is the property to the north willing to sell you this strip of land and get away from an easement altogether? No,
No.
just, it's something.
Mr. Wagner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fred Wagner, Planning Officer. Ms. Krieger, in the staff report, and actually in the report there, they did mention that in their request for the variance approval, they mentioned that they could not obtain, they couldn't buy a strip of land from the neighbor. So just wanted to, it was in there. It's.
I read it. Okay. Mr. Gilson? Oh, you're trying to get, okay. Ms. Salmon?
Is there any reason that lot 2 couldn't become its flagpole lot and do what you just said, allowing, what would you call that, a flagpole easement or whatever, that would give everybody legal access off of Dartmoor?
Is that a question for
Yeah,
Mr.
is that
Wagner?
an option?
Is that a question for Mr. Wagner?
I'm not really following your configuration. I mean, where,
I might have misunderstood what was said, but when I had asked about could they do this common use easement, I think the answer was no, because they both have to access this public road, which would be the Dartmoor Street. So could lot 2 ask itself to become a flag lot driveway? And that looks like how they're accessing it anyway. And then lot 1 would then be like a flagpole straight to Dartmoor. I guess I'd draw it like this. I don't know.
the issue there becomes the setback, if I remember correctly. There wasn't enough room to go on the north side of the building with the easement. Or with, you'd have to have a, what is this, 2 acre? So you'd have to have a 40-foot wide flagpole, and there's not enough room between the property line and the house for a 40-foot.
To the chair. So just to confirm, what we're asking them to do is come south from the Sunflower Drive, or what would be a continuation of Dartmoor, and just run a easement or a driveway along the swamp on the south? Is what the borough would prefer?
The code requires something different than what they're proposing. This is a proposal we put forth as a possibility. Don't know that they're going to want to do that or not. We didn't feel like, we wanted to make sure that the money that they spent to get here was at least resulted in something that could possibly move forward, or they get what they wanted exactly. We didn't want to just leave them hanging with no possibility to subdivide it, unless they came back entirely again and paid all the fees over again. So we looked at a way that if we were to approve it without the variance, you would have to do a flag lot out to the road and construct the road to that portion.
Any further discussion? Are we ready to vote? Okay, so a yes would be to not approve. Now I'm going to get it backwards.
Yeah, a yes would be, a yes vote would approve the variance, and a no vote would decline the variance.
Okay. Are we,
Are we using our clicker?
okay, members vote.
The motion fails with plating members Shavetta, oh. The motion fails with plating members Salmon and Gilson in favor.
Since we do this regularly, last time I didn't, when we didn't approve, because right before we voted, Ms. Salmon had given her reasonings to vote against, but it is traditional, if either of you would like to at this time state why you voted against, you don't have to. It's just, it's considered common courtesy amongst the board. I didn't offer it last time because right before you had just done it, I didn't figure you wanted to repeat yourself. So
yeah, no, that makes
if either of you wish to mention why you don't support it, you may.
Yeah, I'd love to, and it goes against the borough code, and the way I read the code is I have to vote that way. I would love to have found a way to vote yes for the variance, to be quite honest, but just the way I read it, I couldn't.
If you wish to, you don't have to say anything. I mean, it gives you a chance to say, so that it winds up on the record and you can see why it was decided that way.
I would agree with Mr. Chavetta, and I would add that I don't like that it could be revoked, because people don't get along all the time, and you're not going to own the property forever. And personally, it would bother me to buy a piece of land knowing that somebody else, I didn't get along with them, they didn't get along with me, and they could revoke my easement. So that's one of my reasons. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Okay. All right, so do we go on to discuss the motion of Ms. Salmon?
I would just say that I voted the way that I voted because I don't agree that an easement would just get pulled like that. It may be, but there'd have to be a good reason for it. Just because somebody don't like me doesn't mean I'm giving my easement up. I'll keep it out of spite and drive in and out all day. So that was one reasoning I thought, to have both parties decide to revoke that easement would mean to me that there's probably another plan. And I am just not a real big fan of, government demanding things that we don't absolutely have to have, I think. So that's kind of where I was at with that. Thank you, though.
I want to just add a quick comment about that with my own personal piece of property that I'm living on right now. So I have a nice square, almost 10-acre lot, and on the one side is a driveway that goes to my property, and it leads to another one that's on the lake. My property has a 20-foot perpetual easement granted to that one lot to access that lake. It's a perpetual easement, and it specifies too that it doesn't matter who owns that lot. It is to that. So anyways, it's the wording in this easement that leaves the door open for potential problems in the future. Just based on seeing how mine is worded and, how it could have been worded differently to resolve that being an issue. All right, so are we moving forward with?
It would be, I have the recommendation, the recommended, so I have the suggested motion on the screen for approval without the variance.
Okay. So discussion on approving.
Do we need to make a motion?
Yep. We need another motion.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve without the variance? Ms. Salmon?
Does the petitioner want approval without the variance? They want to try to move forward, or is it okay to ask?
Okay, would you like a few minutes to review them? All right, what? Oh, okay, I thought you said you had, you know me, I can't hear correctly. Especially when this thing isn't working as well as it should.
So she can come up and speak?
Yeah, oh yeah, she may.
Come on.
Well, the board, it's up to them. I don't get to decide.
Okay.
I just sit here and try to police the thing. They're in charge.
Dana Rumpelt with Lavender Survey, representative for the petitioner. The condition of approval without variance says that we have to make the flag go along the south line and then build the road out to meet the south property line. We would like to ask that that condition change, that because there's 120 feet of approved right-of-way, and we would like the flag to go along the west side of the property. I have a picture if you'd like to see it. So that would remove the requirement to build more of a T-turnaround than we need.
Mr. Wagner?
How about we propose, I can propose a change, I think, that might suffice so that it's not, how about redesign proposed lots to include a 40-foot flagpole for proposed lot 1? And then we don't say where we're going to put it.
Okay. Yeah, that would
I
be
think
great.
that'll give you the ability to put it where it works best for you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
We would need an amendment to the motion to change this finding before we get to voting. So if you're for that, one of the boarding members, it looks like Ms. Salmon will take it.
Is that finding number 4 we're talking about?
Yes, it is.
And so we would say redesign proposed lot to include 40-foot flagpole portion running along the western boundary.
We would replace that period, or that comma after lot 1 with a period, and then just strike the rest of that the sentence.
Okay.
And that gives them an ability to move it wherever they want. So
And then I think we have to remove the build Dartmoor. I think we have to
yes.
remove number 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you want that motion then?
Yep, I need a motion and then we'll work on the amendment.
I move to approve the preliminary plat of.
Your voice isn't carrying on the mic.
I move to approve the preliminary plat of Shalom Acres, Section 27, Township 18 North, Range 01 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, contingent on staff recommendations 1 through 9, with period, or with a correction to number 4 and 5?
I would say if we stopped at that point,
Period.
and then you get a second, we
And then work on the amendment.
then we can just start discussion, and then we do an amended motion to change the conditions.
Makes sense.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Okay, discussion?
Is this where we do an amendment?
Yeah, he's working on the wording
Wording on that
for
one?
the amendment.
I guess just to clarify, this approves this plat in a way that our petitioner feels they can work with, or
Well,
they
there-
could continue it and replan it and come back at a later date, I guess.
He's
is
not
what-
specifying, though, where the 40-foot flag portion needs to be.
Yeah.
So that's being left open.
Yeah,
to
it
their
sounds like
discretion.
it addresses the concerns, I think.
And we're getting rid of number 5, so
Yeah.
it doesn't specify Dartmoor.
Yeah, just like so many numbers. I just want to make sure we're not.
We'd like to amend to redesign proposed lots to include a 40-foot flagpole portion for proposed lot 1 and number 4 to exclude running along the southern boundary of the parent parcel.
And then get rid of number 5 as well, because that says.
And also to delete number 5.
Right.
I think it would also have to be to also remove number 6 as well.
I was reading that. And to remove number 6, A through F.
To the chair.
Oh, sorry.
As we aren't certain if the flag would be able to fit in there, or are we, without any construction, should it be appropriate to put a, if required to meet the frontage requirements, amendment to the construction aspect of it? That way, if they have to do any kind of extension of the road to achieve the required frontage, it's still in there to do it. But if their design alteration removes that request, they don't have to meet it, as it's an either or type of statement.
Yeah, then that's a good point. I'm wondering if maybe a continuation, allowing the petitioner to bring a new drawing showing what the idea is, so that we know what we're approving. I don't, if the petitioner would. I don't know if we can add it right now, because, I mean, I think the more correct way would be to request a continuation to bring in how would we do this? Because, I mean, the planning board and the public haven't gotten to see what this would look like with this proposed change like this. And I don't know that it might not be better to continue for, which would be to September 18th, like everything else it was done today, so that you could present the planning board a new plat to represent what you desire.
What is the timeline in order to get that to the borough so it gets where it needs to go? Just curious.
If you have it close to ready, I mean.
I have it close to ready. I could give it to you this week. I just need to know what.
Oh, it'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you accept a continuance to bring
Yeah.
forth a new plat?
Yes.
That way we get approved, everything's clear, we're not fighting it down the road going, well, it's gonna be this way, no, it's gonna be that way.
Yeah.
And I know if Law is listening, John Ashenbrenner is going,
Yeah. We accept a continuation so we can submit updated plan.
Okay.
Chair, how do we get around the motion that's on the floor to move to the continuation then?
yeah, you can make a new motion to
I motion to take the current motion off the floor and motion to continue till September 18th.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Any objections? No objections. So moved. Okay. Staff comments?
We do not have a September 4th meeting. We have no cases. We do have several cases now. We have one case already scheduled, which is Three Sisters, and then the cases that we continued at today's meeting for the 18th. So I'm really glad when I opened that up, I didn't see 5 cases for the 18th already. Thank you. And
Thank you, Mr.
Ms. Smith, do you
Wagner.
have anything?
No comment.
Okay, board comments. Ms. Krieger.
None from me.
Okay. Mr. Gilson.
No comments.
Mr. Chivetta.
No comments.
Ms. Salmon.
I want to say thank you to the board, thank you to the staff. Good work. They should put us in charge of more stuff.
Thank you, Ms. Salmon. Okay, none from me. I am adjourning this meeting at 2:24 p.m.